All right, listen up. Have you ever felt like you just couldn't go on? Like you'd hit a wall in life? Guess what? That moment, right there, is actually the doorway to real growth. See, there are two kinds of people in this world. There are those who hit a tough spot, say, I can't do this anymore, and just stop. And then there are the others. They take that I can't and use it as a springboard to become the strongest version of themselves. Today, we're talking about anti-fragility. This isn't just about being strong or bouncing back. It's about actually getting stronger from challenges, stress, and even failure. Instead of breaking, you thrive because of the tough stuff. Most people, like 99% of them, try to avoid difficulties. They're scared of life's rough waters, so they stay in a safe harbor. But the 1% who succeed, they're different. They row right into the storm, using those rough waters to get to places no one else can reach. That, my friends, is anti-fragility. Today, I'm going to share 10 rules to help you become anti-fragile. If you put these rules into practice, you'll learn how to turn adversity into your advantage and bust through those impossible walls. This isn't just a survival strategy, it's the fastest way to success. Imagine your current self versus the future you, someone who has embraced anti-fragility. Which life would you choose? The power to decide is yours. These 10 rules are the key to unlocking your most powerful human ability, anti-fragility. By the end of this, you'll be on your way to turning any setback into fuel for growth. So, let's dive in. Rule 1. Your limits are an illusion. You probably think you know your limits, right? But here's the truth. When you feel like you can't go on, you've actually only tapped into about 40% of your real capacity. Why? Because your brain has evolved to send out early warning signals to keep you safe. Think about a marathon. That feeling you get at mile 20 or 25. When you think you can't run another step, isn't your body truly giving out? It's just your brain's early alarm system. Researchers like Tim Noakes from South Africa developed the central governor theory, which basically says your brain sends out, I can't do this, signals much earlier than your body's actual limit to protect you. It's a defense mechanism for survival, but it can be a huge roadblock to growth. Look at David Goggins, the ultra-athlete. We've talked about him before, but it's worth repeating. This former Navy SEAL knows how to push past human limits. He's done countless ultramarathons over 100 miles, and he coined the 40% rule. It means when you feel like you're at your limit, you're actually only using 40% of what you're capable of. Goggins says, when your mind is telling you you're done, your body's only at 40%. He's proven this truth with his own body, transforming from an overweight man into one of the world's toughest ultra-runners because he understood that limits are an illusion. Think about this in your daily life. When you feel like you're done with work, that's often when your real productivity can kick in. When you think you can't do one more rep at the gym, that's where true muscle growth happens. When your brain feels fried studying, that's when the real learning begins. So, how do you break through the illusion of your limits? First, reframe that I can't feeling, not as a warning, but as a signal for opportunity. When it hits, tell yourself, okay, this is where the real work begins. Second, start with small challenges. Tell yourself, just 5 more minutes of exercise, or just 5 more pages of reading. Make it a habit, and slowly but surely, your threshold for I can't will rise. Remember, Your I can't isn't a sign to give up. It's a sign that your true power is just around the corner. It's the entrance to real growth. Rule 2. Challenges are like workouts. You know how muscles grow, right? It's called supercompensation. When you put a moderate amount of stress on your muscles, the fibers get temporarily damaged. Then, as they recover, they rebuild stronger than before. That's a perfect example of anti-fragility in action. The same principle applies to your mind. Moderate challenges stimulate your mental muscle fibers, leading you to become stronger and more resilient. The trick is figuring out the right amount of stress. Too little, and you won't grow. Too much, and you'll break. The optimal amount pushes you to your limit, but still allows you to recover. So how can you use this in your daily life? First, understand your growth zone. This is the area where you're uncomfortable but not completely overwhelmed. For example, if you're nervous about public speaking, start by speaking in front of 3 people. Once you're comfortable, move up to 5, then 10. Don't try to speak to 100 people all at once. Gradually increase the load. Second, schedule challenge time. Set aside time once a week to intentionally jump into something difficult. Learn a new skill. Talk to someone you usually avoid. Push your physical limits. Choose activities that feel like a workout for your mind and spirit. Remember, comfort is the enemy of growth. Just as muscles need pain to grow, your mind needs challenges to get stronger. Embrace the discomfort. View it as a mental workout. Only those who do will develop an iron will. Don't run from challenges, run towards them. They are your best training. Rule 3. Failure is a goldmine of information. Most people are terrified of failure, but successful people, they're different. They treat failure as valuable information and actively seek it out. There's a huge difference between someone who fears failure and someone who learns from it. Those who fear it stay stuck in a small, narrow lane their whole lives. Those who learn from it constantly grow, using that information to achieve massive success. Look at James Dyson, the guy who revolutionized vacuum cleaners. Before he created his groundbreaking cyclonic vacuum, he made 5,126 prototypes over 15 years. Every single one of them failed. Most people would give up after 10 tries, but not Dyson. He famously said, "I didn't fail 5,126 times. I found 5,126 ways that didn't work." For him, each failure was a step closer to a solution. The 5,127th prototype was a massive success that made him a billionaire. Dyson saw failure as a data collection process. Each failed attempt provided valuable information about what didn't work, which was essential for his ultimate success. So how do you use failure in your own life? First, I recommend creating a failure log. Every time you fail, write down what happened, why it happened, and what you'll do differently next time. This transforms failure from a setback into a valuable lesson. Next, plan for small, intentional failures. Create safe environments where you deliberately try new things and allow yourself to fail. Maybe try a new recipe, read a book in an unfamiliar field, or try a new sport for the first time. By accumulating small failures, you build resilience and prepare yourself for bigger challenges. Finally, reframe failure not as a cost, but as an investment. When you fail at learning a new skill, you're not just wasting time. You're investing in the information you need for future success. Remember, those who fear failure are missing out on the most important textbook. To become successful, you must learn to gather information from failure and turn it into fuel. Starting today, don't fear failure. Learn from it, because the most valuable lessons come from our mistakes. Rule 4. Comfort is your enemy. Modern life is overflowing with comfort. Temperature-controlled rooms, soft beds, everything you need at your fingertips. It seems great, but this very comfort is actually stripping away your strength. Why? Because people who constantly seek comfort are destined to break at the first real challenge. True strength comes from intentionally choosing discomfort. Wim Hof, the Iceman, embodies the power of discomfort. He spends time shirtless in freezing temperatures, climbs Everest in shorts, and meditates for hours in extreme cold. By putting himself in incredibly uncomfortable environments, he's developed physical abilities that seem impossible for most people. Scientists studying him found that Hof can consciously control his autonomic nervous system and immune system, something previously thought impossible. How did he gain this power? Simple, by continually choosing discomfort. He says, by stepping outside our comfort zone, we can awaken the dormant powers within us. He reclaimed the power modern humans have lost through intentional discomfort. Ancient Stoic philosophers like Seneca practiced similar disciplines. He would regularly live on minimal food and wear simple clothes as poverty practice. This was mental training to prepare for the worst. He taught that if you practice for difficulties, when they actually arrive, they'll feel like just another practice session. So how do you embrace discomfort in your daily life? First, I suggest scheduling intentional discomfort time. For example, take a cold shower once a week. Start with 30 seconds and gradually increase the time. This is a small dose of suffering that builds mental toughness. Next, occasionally practice intermittent fasting. Go 16 hours, 24 hours, or whatever level is right for you, without food. This strengthens your self-discipline and builds resilience. And finally, make a habit of ditching comfort. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Walk or bike instead of driving. Turn down the AC on a hot day, or dress a little lighter on a cold one. Make small, uncomfortable choices in your daily routine. Remember, comfort is like a drug. It feels good in the short term, but it weakens you in the long run. If you want strength, choose discomfort. It'll be tough at first, but eventually you'll gain a strength that most people can't even imagine. That strength will be your shield when you face life's real crises. Don't fear discomfort. Embrace it. Rule 5. Take calculated risks. Most people live seeking safety. A stable job, reliable income, predictable relationships. They believe minimizing risk is the path to happiness. But the truth is the opposite. Seeking perfect safety is actually the greatest danger, because a life without risk is a life that constantly misses opportunities for growth. In this world, the truly dangerous thing is to attempt nothing at all. Richard Branson famously said, if somebody offers you an amazing opportunity, but you are not sure you can do it, say yes, then learn how to do it later. He dropped out of school young and built an empire from music to airlines to space travel. Each step involved calculated risks, and by taking them, he built what he has. He says, "My secret to success is simple. Prepare, calculate the risk, and then jump." So how do you take calculated risks on in your own life? First, make risk assessment a habit. When you face a new challenge, ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? Often the worst outcome isn't as scary as you imagine. Maybe a temporary embarrassment, a small financial loss, or a minor waste of time. These are recoverable risks, and they're worth taking compared to the potential reward. Next, start with small risks. Try a new dish, visit an unfamiliar place, strike up a conversation with a stranger. By taking small risks regularly, you'll build your risk muscle and become more comfortable with bigger ones. Remember, the biggest regret in life isn't failing. It's not trying. Don't fear calculated risks. They're the only path that will lead you to grow and reach heights you never imagined. A ship that stays in a safe harbor will never discover new continents. Start taking small intentional risks today and gradually build the courage to embark on bigger adventures. Rule 6. Subtract, don't just add. Humans have an addition bias. When we face a problem, we tend to look for things to add as solutions. Work more, study more, add more features, make more plans. But often the real solution lies in subtraction. By removing what's bad, problems often resolve themselves naturally. A study in 2021 by a team at the University of Virginia highlighted this principle. Participants were asked to improve Lego structures, and most chose to add blocks. However, removing blocks was actually more effective. The researcher, Lady Klotz, concluded that people have an addition bias and often overlook improvements that involve subtraction. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry famously said, "Perfection is achieved not when there is nothing more to add, but when there is nothing left to take away." This principle applies not just to art, but to every aspect of life. So how do you use the power of subtraction in your life? First, practice a digital detox. Turn off notifications on your phone, reduce social media apps, check email less often. By reducing the influx of information, you'll boost your focus and creativity. Next, try a possession reduction challenge. Get rid of 30 items in 30 days. Unused clothes, unread books, unnecessary gadgets. By reducing physical clutter, you create mental space. Finally, make a time thieves list and identify relationships, habits, and activities that drain your energy. By reducing these, you can dedicate your time and energy to what truly matters. The same applies to health. Before adding health foods, reduce processed foods, sugar, and alcohol. Before starting a new workout, reduce your sedentary time. Remember, in a world of addition, complexity and burden only grow. In a world of subtraction, simplicity and essence emerge. When you face a problem, your first thought shouldn't be what to add, but what to subtract. Start removing unnecessary things from your life today, and what's truly valuable will naturally appear. Rule 7. Combine extremes. Many people believe in balance and moderation. They follow the advice of everything in moderation and seek the middle ground in everything. But if you want to become anti-fragile, you need to know that this moderation is your biggest weakness. True strength comes from strategically combining extremes. Secure yourself on one extreme and take big risks on the other. This barbell strategy works in any situation. Nassim Taleb who coined the barbell strategy in investing, put this principle into practice. He suggested allocating 90% of assets to ultra-safe investments like government bonds, and the remaining 10% to high-risk, high-reward ventures. He argued that it's smarter to embrace both extremes than to put everything into moderate risk. He says moderate strategies get you neither the benefits of safety nor the benefits of extreme risk. It's the combination of extreme safety and extreme risk that allows you to handle any uncertainty. Investors who used this strategy during the 2008 financial crisis saw huge gains. So how do you use the barbell strategy in your life? First, practice a time barbell. Divide your day into periods of extreme focus, deep work, creative thinking, and extreme rest, complete relaxation, meditation, time in nature. Stop the lukewarm approach of a little work, a little phone. Either go all in or fully recover. Next, build a skill barbell. On one hand, master a unique specialty where you're truly unbeatable. On the other, build a broad base of foundational knowledge. This combination is more resilient in a rapidly changing world than being a moderately skilled specialist. And finally, the same applies to relationships. Combine a few deep, meaningful relationships with a large network of loose connections. This combination leads to a richer life than having only lukewarm relationships. Remember, moderation may seem safe, but it's often the riskiest choice. In an uncertain world, only those who strategically combine extremes can thrive in any situation. Ditch moderation and embrace the extremes. That's how you flourish in chaos. Rule 8. Keep increasing your options. In an uncertain world, what's most valuable? Options. Only those with many options can gain the most from chaos. Those without option are doomed to be swept away by change. Consider the words of former chess world champion Garry Kasparov. He said, "The essence of chess is about increasing your options. Increase your options, reduce your opponent's options. Then, victory is inevitable." This principle applies not just to chess, but to every aspect of life. So how do you increase your options in your own life? First, practice skill diversification. In addition to one specialized skill, intentionally develop complementary skills. For example, if you're an engineer, develop writing or presentation skills. If you're in sales, hone your data analysis abilities. The combination of skills creates unique strengths and expands your options. Next, work on diversifying your network. Don't just connect with people in your industry or with similar backgrounds. Cultivate relationships with people from different fields and cultures. A diverse network brings unexpected opportunities. And don't forget to increase your financial options. Depending on a single income source is risky. Develop multiple income streams. Side hustles, investments, monetizing your skills. This creates a safety net if one source fails. Finally, the breadth of your learning is crucial. Actively learn about fields outside your specialization. Knowledge that seems unrelated can often prove useful in unexpected ways. Diverse knowledge boosts creativity and problem-solving. Remember, people with no options are always at the mercy of others. People with options become kings who control the game. Start intentionally increasing your options today. Develop skills, expand your network, diversify your income, and broaden your knowledge. Then, no matter what changes come, you'll have the power to turn them into opportunities. Rule 9. Experiment fast, learn fast. Many people follow a strategy of planning everything perfectly before taking action, and many of them fail. Why? Because the world is too complex and unpredictable. Even the most perfect plan is often powerless in the face of real-world complexity. Anti-fragile people are different. They take a try fast, learn fast approach. They start small, learn from real-world results, and adjust quickly. This iterative approach is the key to success in an unpredictable world. Temple Grandin, a leading autism researcher, embodies this principle in science. She brought a new perspective to scientists as someone with a different way of thinking. She says, "It's more important to learn by doing than to have a perfect experimental plan." The essence of science is to not be afraid to fail, but to keep learning and correcting based on results. So how do you practice a try fast, learn fast approach in your own life? First, embrace the concept of a minimum viable product. When starting a new project, don't aim for perfection. Instead, quickly create the absolute minimum version that works. If you're starting a business, launch a basic product or service rather than a perfect business plan. If you're starting a blog, just start writing articles instead of perfecting the design. Next, shorten your learning cycles. After you try something, immediately reflect on the results, learn, and adjust. Make it a habit to cycle through learning, not just weekly or monthly, but daily or even hourly, if appropriate. Finally, consciously set a failure tolerance. Set a specific goal, like, "I'll allow myself up to 5 failures in this area this month." Instead of fearing failure, shift your mindset to fearing not failing enough. Remember, perfectionism is an invisible enemy. It delays action and steals opportunities. Starting today, practice the try fast, learn fast approach. It's okay to be imperfect at first. In fact, being imperfect allows you to improve quickly. The world doesn't wait. Only those who learn as they go and grow as they learn can succeed in this rapidly changing world. Rule 10. Have the courage to let go of the old. Most people focus only on gaining things. New skills, new habits, new knowledge. But for true growth, letting go is just as, if not more, important. Because as long as you cling to the old, there's no room for the new. Growth isn't just about adding. It's a process of creative destruction, where you destroy the old to create the new. The economist Joseph Schumpeter championed this principle of creative destruction in the economic world. He argued that economic development happens through creative destruction, where old structures are destroyed to make way for new ones. This principle applies not just to economies, but to individual growth as well. We see the same principle in nature. Snakes shed their old skin to grow. If they clung to it, they'd suffocate and die. Lobsters similarly shed their hard shells to grow, not fearing the temporary vulnerability. Nature teaches us the importance of creative destruction. So, how do you practice creative destruction in your own life? First, make regular inventory a habit. Every 3 months, review your skills, habits, relationships, and possessions. Ask yourself, is this contributing to my growth right now? And have the courage to let go of anything that isn't. Effort if it had value in the past. Next, beware of the success trap. Past successes often become obstacles to future growth. The thought pattern of, "This worked before, so I'll keep doing it," is dangerous. Especially after a big success, you need to be ready to let go of the methods that got you there. And finally, practice regular reinvention. Once a year, ask yourself, if I were to rebuild myself from scratch right now, what would I keep and what would I change? And have the courage to boldly reinvent yourself based on the answer. Remember, growth is a process of both addition and subtraction. You need the courage not only to embrace the new, but also to let go of the old. Just as a snake sheds its skin, or a lobster sheds its shell, have the courage to regularly shed your old self. That's the only way to break through stagnation and reach new heights. Today, we've explored the powerful concept of anti-fragility. It's more than just resilience. It's the ability to profit from stress and challenges. This is the ultimate weapon for success in an uncertain world. Let's quickly recap the 10 rules I shared. Your limits are an illusion. Challenges are your best workout. Failure is a goldmine of information. Comfort is your enemy. Choose discomfort. Take calculated risks. Subtract, don't just add. Combine extremes. Keep increasing your options. Experiment fast. Learn fast. Have the courage to let go of the old. The person these rules describe is truly anti-fragile. They don't fear adversity, they thrive on it. They don't fear change, they use it to evolve. They don't fear uncertainty, they wield it as a weapon to flourish. Right now, you have two paths in front of you. One is to continue seeking safety and comfort, as you always have. On the surface, that might seem safe, but it's actually the most dangerous choice. The other path is to practice the rules you've learned today and become anti-fragile. That might be uncomfortable in the short term, but it will lead to infinite growth and possibilities in the long run. The choice is yours. But remember, the world isn't waiting. Change is accelerating, and those who can't ride the wave will surely be left behind. Starting today, pick just one of these rules and start putting it into practice. Recognize the illusion of your limits. Choose a small discomfort. Learn from a failure or take a calculated risk. If you've watched this far, I want you to declare in the comments, "I'm not afraid of change." Also, I'm here to answer your questions. Membership members get priority answers, so if you're serious about leveling up, definitely sign up for that. And most importantly, action is everything. Knowledge alone changes nothing. Practice is what brings real transformation. Start your journey to anti-fragility right now. Bonus rule, it's all training. If you've stuck around this long, you're special. By choosing to watch this whole video, you've already set yourself apart from the majority. So, here's a bonus rule for you. The ultimate truth that everything is training. Every event in your life, successes and failures, happiness and hardship, the predictable and the unexpected. It's all training to make you stronger, smarter, and more adaptable. If you understand this truth, you'll have nothing to fear. Every experience will be a whetstone to sharpen you. So the next time you face a challenge, instead of thinking, "Why is this happening to me?" try reframing it as, "This is training to make me stronger." That simple shift in perspective will dramatically change how you react. You change, and the world changes. Change how you see the world, and every wall becomes a stepping stone. Thanks again for watching all the way through. I'll see you tomorrow.